good day to everyone, wherever you're watching us. So today we'll start drilling down into the textbook, and we're going to start from chapter 1. So let me just give us a glimpse of what we have in the textbook. Let me give us a glimpse of what we have in the textbook. So I believe by now, let this go down. So yeah, so this is where we are going to be starting from, getting to know, getting started with the basics. So there's not much to this. So what we'll do is I will run through few that I can read. Then the practical aspect is what I will be majoring on, and I'll be putting additional few things because I've worked with the terminal, I've done some few things and like that. So some few things that he might have not included, I'll be including them. So please get your OneNote ready also, as you are. Though the video will always be there, but it's good you have your documentation like we said yesterday. So get your OneNote, open it up, let it be somewhere. I'm very sure you should have your green shot now. So this is mine. So for today, I will say we are starting from chapter 1. That's chapter 1. So chapter 1, and you can just say, so whatever you want to call it, it depends on you. Whatever you want to put in front of it, chapter 1 is just getting started. So I can just say getting started. So I will not. This is just the first. This because maybe let's say for the 2 or 3 subsequent lesson I'll be taking, I'll be documenting. I might not need to be documenting every other thing, but please, this is the best way to learn. Keep documenting. When you document, you can learn very fast. So one thing I would suggest again is whenever you are watching my video, you can watch it at 2 times, times 2 speed. So you watch it very fast. The particular place where you need it, you can split it down there, or try to understand it as fast as it is there. You can understand it, take a snapshot, practice it. The most important thing is for you to practice. Practice. And we're in the era of AI. Please ensure you know how to use AI very well, especially ChatGPT. So I think I've not logged in my ChatGPT here. I have ChatGPT, Perplexity. You can use the Microsoft Copilot, that one that comes with your Edge. You can use that also. So now for today, if I want to use it, I'll be using Perplexity. Then I think I can use my Edge also. Okay, I can use my Copilot here also. So please, let's get started. So I don't want to waste much of our time. So getting started with the basics. By our very nature, hackers are doers. We want to touch and play with things. We also want to create, sometimes break things. Few of us want to do this. So you can take your time to read this. This is just I call it an appellation. Okay, in this chapter we'll be going into one of the concepts. He said we won't be going through most of the concepts, but the important one that is not touching, I'm going to be introducing them to us. So basically we begin our journey through the words of this. So basically here he's talking about, he wants to make clarification about these things, these files. Now we have this as a folder in our Kali Linux. So by the time we get inside, I'll be showing some of these things. Binary is where you have all your functions. So you have your function. If your function or if your script is in your binary, you can easily call them. But don't worry, with time you get used to those things. So let's just start small, and whatever you don't understand, put it to ChatGPT. Let it just tell ChatGPT, break it down to the simplest form. Give me examples. How can I explain this to a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old, a 5-year-old, and before you know it, you get it. So when we talk about directory, actively directory is one thing. If you have a system, is one thing you have been interacting with. This is a directory. Because inside this directory I can have other files. This is a directory also. This is a directory. They have signs of folder. This is not a directory. This is a file, but the extension is not an extension of a file. These are DLL. So let me come to, do I even have, okay, this is a folder that will be containing your pictures or picture rows or all of that. Sure you understand. So I'm just trying to say, let's say we come to home. So that's what I have there. So let's just come down here. come down here. So we have home, Kali, we have home. Home is your primary directory for every user. Each user each user has their home directory. Now you know in your system you can have multiple users on your system. You can have multiple users. Sometimes, okay, let's come to this place. Now, here now I am the user. I'm the only user on this system. Assuming it is 2, it will be labeled so I can log out and log into another user. So you can read about it. You can always switch between users on your system. So I don't really think that's something complex, but we're going to encounter things like this here. When you are in your root, your I think it's your home or your root, you'll be able to see your users. But we'll do all of that to practicalize them. So now, like I've said before, we don't need to memorize everything. Just know how things work. Whenever you want to do them, you just search online. So every hackers and every programmer and everybody doing things that involve a lot of information, what they do is, even if you forget what you want to do itself, you shouldn't forget the step. You know what you want to do and you can search for them. So we have root file, we have script. So read about these things. Since you have the textbook, I don't need to be reading them. Root is a folder. Also, root, will I say, is something just like when you have a tree. The root of a tree is the lowest you can go, and every other thing depends on it. So in the root is a user that comes with the system itself before you now layer another user on it. So if anyone has a root access, they can do and undo anything on your system. That's why when most hackers hack your system, what they want to get, they want to elevate their privilege to become root. All of that, we'll understand this as time goes on. Because as a root, you can do and undo. You have better. So script generally is I have a file and I'm going to use an extension. You have a file where you write some series of code, and the extension is quite different from what you have for a normal file. So that extension make it recognizable by the system. So your interpreter will be able to pick on it, go through the scripts, and all of the commands that you have specified is going to execute them. While shell, okay, they say shell is an environment and interpreter for running command in Linux. So the most widely used shell is bash. So we'll be talking much about bash shell, which is born again. When you read this, you get this. So yeah, let's go to the main thing. We're taking a tour of the Kali. Remember I told you, majorly when you install a Kali Linux, initially the default username and password is Kali. So let me bring up my Kali. So this is my Kali here. I'm pretty sure every one of us should have this now, and I think we talked a little bit about what we have here. So first of all, if you want to change the name you have here, just come here, right click, come to settings, and you can come to your options, come here. So I can change everything here. I can call this my training lab, so it doesn't really matter. That's the name with which this virtual machine will be identified. I say this is my training training lab. Like I said, this is my training lab, so just say okay. So this is Linux, and it's telling us the version of the Linux we are using, and this is the working directory. Working directory tells you where we put that particular file that we pointed this from, where we got this virtual machine. So a little of that. So now if you want to go and just power on your virtual machine, so let it run. So while we wait, what was I discussing the other time? So let's come to this place. So here, once you start calling, you are greeted with this login page. This is this. So this is the graphic user interface for Kali. But most of the time we work in the term. We use command line, which is on the we use command line. We type it on the terminal. So the bash shell. So the bash shell will be able to interpret it and make the machine understand. It's going to translate it to a machine understandable language. So now the first thing is We have graphical user interface, but we don't use it much. We will be most of the time we'll be dwelling in our terminal, because with terminal you have a lot of access to things you can't easily do on your graphic user interface. That's the more reason why all hackers dwell in the black box. We call it the black box. You understand? So this is how it looks like, and this is your terminal. So let me go back to this place. I hope this is up now. Okay, this is up now. So I'm still using my default username and password. This is going to be Kali, then my tab, then Kali again. So this takes me in. I'm trying to see. No. So now I'm in my Kali. This is my Kali Linux. So once you look at the top here, you'll be able to see, you see your terminal. This is your terminal, terminal emulator. So this is the major resource we'll be using. But never forget that this Kali Linux is even the same. It has the same GUI as other operating system. So now this is where you have all your tools, and all of these tools are useful for penetration testing, for ethical hacking and stuff. Look at reporting, forensic. Look at this now. We have information gathering. We have all of these tools. So these tools, this one still have some under DNS enumeration, DNS map, DNS recon, FIES. So all of this we are going to touch on them, and I'm going to show you how to use them, when to use them, and what they use them for. Okay, this is massive. You see, Nmap is massive. Nmap is used all the time, majorly. It's one of those very important tools. Nmap, very important tools to have in your arsenal. So now we're going to touch on all of this, but not now. And even if we are touching on all of them, we'll be doing it from the terminal. So you need to be conversant with the terminal. We're playing a lot in the terminal. So I'm opening up my terminal now. Then let's kickstart. So let me now you can open multiple terminal. But instead of opening multiple terminal, what I do is I use Ctrl+Shift+T. So it's going to open them as tabs here. So you can be working on a singular terminal and have different tabs. So now this action, let me just show you where it is. Ctrl+Shift+T. Where is it? Ctrl+Shift+T. I don't know if they. Okay, let me see if it's going to work here. Okay, so you use Ctrl+Shift+T. It's going to give you another tab. Ctrl+Shift+T. So I can have 4 tabs. You understand? So I can work here, come here, and even if you want to rename each of those tabs, you can rename them so that you know what you are doing. So I can rename this to say my first tab, my first terminal. So it doesn't really matter though. I'm just saying this so that you can know, okay, I'm working here, this is what I'm doing here. I can say I'm using this one for scanning, and I think this is Alt-Shift+S. So I can click here, do Alt-Shift+S, then let's do for scanning. So let me just expand this so that we have it full. Then again, you see, as I'm doing it now, this could be very small. So I would like to increase the font so that you can see everything I'm doing. So I'll use Ctrl+. No, sorry, I think Ctrl+Shift+. Yeah. So you can see everything I'm doing clearly. So I'm pretty sure now you can see me clearly. So what I did was Ctrl+Shift+ sign that you have very close to your backspace, depending on the system you are using. That is what I just used now. Ctrl+Shift and plus. Ctrl+Shift+. So if I want to reduce it, I think I just use Control. That's Control hyphen, which stands for minus. Control minus will reduce this. Ctrl+Shift+ will increase it. So I think we are good with that. So I would like to place them side by side. Let me reduce this a bit. Let's do this. So let's do this, and we have this here. So let's push this inside and let's push this out a bit. Okay, so here, so this is the first run of the terminal, and here they are telling us all the files we have. All these files, with time you get to use them, you have this, take a look at it and read it. But we'll be starting with some few things now that we need to know. So let's start with the basic command. So you can just read through these ones. Please do. Root, the home directory of all powerful root users. So you see, when they are talking about root, they talk about root users because you have a lot of privilege, and you can do lots of can perform lots of functions that other users might not have the privilege to. So now let's come to the basics, the basic command in Linux. So finding yourself. So the first command we are presented is pw, which means print working directory. It's all about saying, okay, where am I? Like whenever you find yourself, if you want to know or get the path to where you are right from your roots, you can just use your pw. So you do pw, which is print working directory. Now if I print working directory, now it's telling me that I am in my Kali. Now Kali is the user and this is my home. Now print working directory show you particularly where you are, and how it shows you is by looking through, telling you from your home to where you are. Now we are going to do something now. It says we are in, so please, if you are recording, you can just do this. There's one thing again. There's one thing. If you are using your screenshot, if you are within a virtual environment, the virtual machine environment, your screenshot will not work. So what I do in most cases is to tap outside, is to click outside or click on something outside. So if I click on this document now and I say shift print, so this is it, I can now bring the cursor here, pick this out and say copy. Once I copy, I come here and I say my first command, which is let's just say, okay, I'll just print my command. Say commands, I have one. So the first one is this, which is I can just do ping w. Yeah. So another way is after one, give it okay, just one, give it a space, place this here, this, and print, and I can tell you can see. So if you want to go, you can say print working directory. And remember that you don't even need to do this because you can easily just check that. What is the full meaning of print working directory online? So I'm going to number 2. So now what we did now, I'm going to do something surrounding this. I'm going to add some few things. First of all, we want to know where we are. Then we want to, now this one is telling us where we are from the information of pathway. Let me give you an example of something like that from our, look at this now. If I come to desktop, okay, let me click on download. So if I want to know the working directory of this download, if I come to the top and click this and I copy it, let me place it here just to know that we are playing around with this examples. So now so let's come back here. Let's come here. So I think they've changed the form of this in a bit. Program files. Okay, if I look at it. I feel because download is an immediate, so I think the same thing might happen if I'm just copying from document. Documents are just the original files, or should I say those default files that are here. Because you are not doing anything special, I might not give you the pathway. So, or if I decide to proceed into this OBS and I click on it, then it gives me the full pathway copy. So this pathway now, if I've copied that pathway implementation. So now we are within this now. If you want to check the list of what we have in this folder, it's simply the same thing as saying, let me see. Okay, if I'm in my desktop now, let me see if I have any folder here, open folder. I don't think I have anything serious here. Let's come to, because I've not really saved anything here. Let's come to music, picture, nothing is here so far. Okay, let me quickly do something. Okay, I will quickly do something. I'll be explaining it later. Let me just let's do this gradually. I want us to do this gradually. Don't let me jump. Now, if I want to check the list of what I have on this Kali, because this Kali as a user is a file, also is a folder with which I can, once I go inside, I can now see all of what it has, it holds. So I can do ls. Ls is to list, desktop list. So it's showing me that in this Kali here, I have my desktop, I have my download, I have my pictures, I have my templates. And if you remember when I came here, first of all, you see this as /home/Kali. It's saying as I'm a Kali user, the user is Kali, and every of this thing is inside the Kali. It is desktop, document, downloads, and all of that is here. So that is literally what it's saying. So now, if I now want to, this is list. So this is list. ls is list. ls is equals to list. ls is equals to list, and example of what it does is to show you what you have within. So I can just click outside, do my shift screen from my this, get this out, so copy, then I can paste again. This is list. Okay, now we can just say list of items within this file, within this folder. Now there's something else here. Now there's one important thing you need to know again, which is your cd. Cd means change directory. So now currently I am in Kali. You know, if you do print working directory, I am in host.kali now. So I'm inside the Kali, and I've checked all the files I have, all the directory that I have in my Kali. I have desktop, I have download, I have pictures, I have templates. So now I can now change directory from my Kali to my desktop, because my desktop is inside Kali. So let's check it again. ls. Now this is the list. And most times when you see that your terminal is getting crowded, you have a lot of things on it, you can just type clear. What did I say? Type clear. So clear clears everything. So here you can add clear to your list of command. I will not be saying much about this. I'm not even going to be saying anything about this. So from now henceforth, just try and build your own documentation. So when I do clear, everything clears. So let's do ls again. This is the list of what I have within Kali when I did print working directory. So now I want to now change my directory from just the Kali and go inside one of its folders. So I can say cd text. One thing again is Linux is case sensitive. So if I want to go into desktop, then it has to be capital D because it is capitalized. You understand what I'm trying to say? So now from here, you can use, there is another privilege you have. You can do autocomplete. So, but sometimes if you have files that almost have the same initial alphabet, it might get confused a bit. So it will now give you list. So here now, if I do tab, it will give me list of the folder that started with D. So by the time I now do tab, it moves to desktop, tab, it moves to document, tab, it moves to download, tab. So I can just click enter into any one of them. You can listen again. Now, if I'm using just the initial, Now look at it, it's only desktop that has DE. So if I do DE and I use tab, it auto completes because it's quite different from others. Now let's say I do DO, so and I do tab, it's going to give me the two documents that have DO. So I can now tab in between them. After you've picked the one you want, you can use your enter. Please notice CD is change directory. Let me see if I've added that. Let's do number 4. CD is change directory, and you even have that in your file here. So we are going to talk about it, but there's something I just want to, there's a render full I'm going to here. So change directory. So by the time I do change directory and I say enter, it takes me into this document here. This is the document. So now what I did now is, if I want to do print working directory, I should have home, Kali, and document. You see what I'm saying? Home, Kali, and document. So there's something we're now going to do now. So we have done ls, print working directory, cd, I've done clear. Let me clear again so that we can clear everything off. Then I can do ls. Now remember that when I checked my documents here, let's come here, let's check my documents. My document has nothing. It has no folder inside of it. It has no folder. It has nothing. It is empty. It is empty. So what I can do here is I can come here. If I do ls, which is list, what this list will say is check everything that is inside here. That is what list does. Check everything that is inside this particular one. Check everything that is here. So if I do ls, it shows that it's empty. Nothing is there. It shows nothing. You could not read anything. So let's clear again. Let's clear. So it's because I made some mistake with what I typed now. So are we good with this? So now I've treated, now again, I just remember this. Whatever you have typed before initially, if you are still in the terminal, if you use your up arrow key, that facing up, if you use up, it shows you all of those commands you've inputted before. So instead of just going back to repeat a particular function that you've typed before, you can just use up and down arrow to navigate through them. And if I want to use my print working directory, I just get there and I use my enter. So it gives me the value. Now that we've been able to move forward, now we use print working directory to change directory. But if you use cd alone, it will take you back to your back home. So if I do cd alone and I use enter, it takes me back home alone. This is if I do print working directory, it gives me home and Kali, which is take me back to the home of my user. This is my user and this is the home. Now this is our host name, because here now we are working from hosts. This is the host name, which is Kali, is our user, and this is the username. So now there's something again. If you want to check the user that you are, if you want to check the user you are operating on, the present user, when the present user that you are on, you can just do who am I. The who am I is going to give you Kali, which is this Kali. Then let me check if host is going to work. Host, no, clear. Let's do host name. Okay. Now you see your host name is still Kali because this is Kali. There's a way we can change this. I will do it now, but until we do something similar to it before I now make emphasis on it. So if I do sudo is super doer. You can read about it before I get there any other time, but when we get there I'll talk about it. If I do sudo, now look at what will happen. It's asking me for my password, and my password is Kali. You can imitate and do this thing also. Now notice what happened. From this Kali here, we move to root. with this root now, that means I've gained a privilege as a root and be able to work as a root. My host name has changed, but my username remained the same. Now, let's run the same thing that we run at the top. Now, let me run it here. First of all, I did who am I? Who am I? So, who am I? Okay, who am I is giving me the name of the host. Giving me the name of the host. Wow, that's the host name. I've always thought this is the host. Then, let's say host name. You should give me the same thing also. Okay. I'm sorry. I think I missed it up. I'm sorry. So this is your host name. This is the host name, and this is your user. Now I'm working as user root. Okay, that's why I said. Now, when you work as user root, you have all privilege and every access to do anything on the system. So my host will remain Kali because I'm using a Kali operating system, which is my host. But this name too can be changed. There are ways you can change them. There's a way you can change it because it's back to something. But when we start working now, digging deep, we'll talk about that. So what I did here now is to be able to temporarily move and get access of a root here to explain who am I. So who am I? Let me quickly document. So in your own case, you can come out, do your shift print depending on the key that you use to activate your disk. You can copy this, copy it, come to this particular place, and let's say that's my 5. I don't remember. Paste it, and I can say I did who am I? Who am I? Who am I is to identify user, current user, and we did host name, like the name imply. You get your host, that will be your present host. You get, so you get that. And what did I do again? I did sudo. You can go read about this, sudo -i. There are other ways you can do it, but this is sudo -i. So that's just the little one for this particular point. Let's proceed. So now let's go back to our Kali. This is my Kali. I'm back in my Kali now. So let me just go back. Let me just go back to my Kali. So I can easily do that by just saying switch user to Kali. So SU means switch user. SU switch user. So we'll be using a lot of it by the time but for now, understand this switch user. So just understand them, do them the way I'm doing them. So let me clear my terminal. So now you started coding because I expect you to do this. I expect you to do this as I am doing it. So two things that I wanted you to know is print working directory tells you where you are. Now look at it. This has even taken me back to root. I'm on my root now. So if you check ls, I'm not permitted to do, because I'm Kali, I'm not permitted to do anything on root. So if in cases like this, if you find yourself here, first of all, you clear, do your CD, and you see your CD take you to the appropriate place where you're supposed to be. Now if you look at this, it took me to root. Here it has taken me back home. So if I do print working directory, it takes me back home. It takes me back home. Please. What we'll do is, I think at the end of the week, maybe probably on Sunday or Saturday, we can just have a 30 minutes or 20 minute session. Whatever you don't understand, concept you want me to demystify, we can talk about it, and I'm quickly going to walk around this, so everybody's welcome. So this is a wonderful community, and you can always drop it on the group. If there's anybody that knows it, that could help with it, please feel free to contribute in the group. And please, I will be, as time goes on, I'll be needing maybe 2 or 3 admins that will help once I'm not around. If I'm not around in the group, people that can stand in and all of that. So place as time goes on. So print working directory, we did cd, which is change directory to our desktop. Let's do it to desktop now. Desktop, and so we can use our tab completes it, and get here, I can do ls to check it. So let me clear now we are in cd, we can do more. We are in cd, we are in desktop. Now we are able to move forward. Assuming we have another file in my desktop, we can move forward again. We can move into that ls to check what is inside. Now there is one thing again that we can do. Now, how can we now move back stepwise? I know this guy talks about it, but let's see what he talks. After I did print working directory, yeah, the file structure, this is root, I showed you then. It talks about the file structure here. Talks about the print working directory. That's on 3. So we go up down. This is whoami. Whoami is going to tell you your user. Whoami tells you your user. Whoami tells you your user, like I said. So while this host name gives you the host you are working on, which is going to be the name of your system, which is your host, is the one hosting you. Is that please come to my house and do whatever you want to do. So you went to the host's house as Kali, and Kali also recognizes you as Kali, but he gave you limited privilege because it's root that owns the house. You understand? It's root that is hosting you. Sure you understand. So now he emphasized on whoami here, but you will notice that while he was doing whoami, after to whoami host name, we talk about ls, change directory. I think he talked about moving around. Okay, now let's talk about some of those directories that we saw at the top. Now it's going to etc. Now there is something. Remember that now if I do print working, let's do print working directory. I'm in my home, Kali, and Linux. Now what he did here was cd to etc. Now I can do cd to /home here, just this alone, and it will take me here. Now let's do that. Let's do cd /home. And now look at it again. Whenever you are typing anything, if what you are typing is wrong or is not available, it's not going to bold it. Now let's see if I'm just typing any gibberish. Look at it, it's not in a bold font again. So let me just go back and type home. Now if I do print working directory, it should give me home alone. Look at it, and look at what we have here. Do you get it? Now we can now stepwise move again and get back to desktop. So now we can say cd /home. Look at this one here. This is where we are going to. And again, you can copy. How you copy? If you highlight like this, you do Ctrl+Shift+C here. So I can come down here, delete this one, and do Ctrl+Shift+V to paste, and I can do my front arrow to come to the front. I've already pasted it now, so I'm telling you how to copy and paste. Copy and paste. So for copy and paste, highlight. When you highlight, copy and paste command for highlighted text is almost the same thing as you are just adding shift, just what we know in our Microsoft. Control plus shift, either is C or V. C is for copy and V is for paste. So now we'll be able to navigate here. So if I do this and I do print working directory, you notice that this is where we are now. So this is just a way for you to move. This is a way for you to move. Now we can if we now do ls now, here you are going to find yourself back here where you have all the documents. So here now I can now do cd. Let's go to videos. Let's go to videos now. Here we are now. I can do ls, there's nothing inside, print working directory, and we get our home, Kali, and video. I don't know, maybe we are getting this. Please, I'm trying to break this down as simple as possible, because I've understand one thing: fundamentals really matters. Fundamentals gives you the backbone, the basics that you need to build upon. Once your foundation is solid, you can fly. Bet me, you can fly. You will fly anyhow. You understand in depth and concepts. So now, so there's one thing I now want to revert back to. The reason why I did all of this is because I want to tell you that if you know the path to where, if you know where you are going to, there's no need to go one by one. You can actually jump from one place to another. If you can teleport, you know that's what they call telepathic. Yeah, you have this telepathic idea. Telepathic, just jump from one place to another. So what we are doing now is I will go back home, then we'll jump from home to video. That's what I want us to do. So we'll do cd/home. That's home. That's all I needed. So clear. Let's do print working directory to see where we are. We are at home. Now, I think I still remember it. So we can now jump. We can now do cd. Instead of calling this, instead of typing this out, because you already have it here, you can use your forward arrow key. It takes you to the front. I do my slash. I have my Kali. I have my Kali, small letter. I have my slash again. Then I can do videos. You see, it's even telling me, it's even showing it that what I'm typing is right. I can just use my tab. It will auto correct it, auto complete. Then I do my enter, and here we're already in video. So what we did was we jumped from home to video here. So what you just needed is to be able to get the path. Now I can do something now. I can say print working directory. This is my working directory. So I can come back, I can copy this, Ctrl+Shift+C, then come here. Which one do I have that is big again? I can just do CD. This is another fresh terminal. CD, then Ctrl+Shift+V, paste. I can add the video at the front. So I can now say enter. Then it takes me to the video straight. So I'm jumping. This is the ability to jump. You understand? Yeah. So we have this. Please do your documentation. I wouldn't be doing much of the documentation. All of these things I know them already. So let me just clear. So now the next thing to do is, let me come back to this point now. Now we have been able to jump. We are jumping like the jumpers. If you have watched this movie, it's been long jumpers where they can teleport. Now we've been able to teleport. No, now we want to say, and the same thing is we can use cd/home to go back to home. But if you want to stepwise go back, they call it, if you want to move upward. You know, now we are going inside, like we are digging deep into some place, like just journeying through a wall, going down. But now if you want to be coming up back one step, now if I want to move from video back to Kali without using CD, I'll just say CD. I will not make any recommendation. You just use 2 full stop period this way, I type enter. If I do my print working directory, it takes me back to my Kali here. I don't know, maybe you get what I mean. Look at what I just did. So please do your documentation. I have cd ... move backward. That's move backward, move upward in directory. Move upward in directory. So you have just seen how I displayed it. So if I want to move from Kali to home now, I can do cd ... full stop, and if I do print working directory now, I'm already in home. I'm already at home. So no, I don't want it to go down too much. Let's leave it this way. So So that is home. I'm trying to shape this. So now, no, let me return it back. So no, we can just read and come back whenever we want to. Now, let me clear. No, you should be getting conversant with those things. This is it. You don't memorize it. For I remember when I started, I needed to write them down. And as time goes on, I have them upstairs. Those are day-to-day commands that you use if you are engaging with, if you are working in Linux. So now, what we do again is we are, let's say, print working directory. We're in our home, and if are you not curious like me? I'm a very curious man. So what do we have beyond home? Let's find out. They said fuck around, you find out. So let's fuck around and find out. Sorry for saying that. So now let's do print working. Let's do cd full stop. So let's do ls. Look at what we have here. Let me clear this. Now let's do print working directory and see. This is our I'll call this is our root folder. These are the root folder, those folder that upon which everything we have. So the functionality of system is depending on. So whenever you have this, that means you are going to root. And whenever, so there's a logic again, but when I'm done with this, I'm going to talk about it. We have ls is list. We're in the root folder. Now, okay, let's do ls. This is what we see, ls. This is our root and everything. Okay, so let's say this is our base file where you have everything your system needs to work, your boot. And if you see, when we're talking about a major directory that makes up the system, from that directory in this system here, let's come to this place. Okay, when they were talking about this, so first of all they talked about root. This is your root here as a user. This is your root here, your root to the system. Your boot, this is your boot here. etc is here. etc contains a lot of files that you'll be using, you'll be interacting with it. Where is our var? Okay, this is our var. This, yeah, our user resource usr is here too. All of them, you see this etc. And if you look at this particular point, this is our we have our home here, and inside this home now we can now have other users. And this is our root. Root have access to everything, can do whatever it wants to do. Is a beast. So all of this structure and file that you are looking for here, they are here. So like the shortcut I gave you the other time, look at the shortcut at the top here where I'm pointing out. So what they do is, if I do cd and slash without typing any other thing, it will always take me back here. Wherever I find myself, wherever folder distance I've gone in going from one folder to another, once I type this cd slash, it takes me back to my root directory. Let me see what they call this directory here. Okay, Linux file system. It takes me back to my Linux file system. So now let's do clear ls. Ls is giving us the list. Now I'm so curious, aren't you curious? Let's step back a bit and see if any other thing exists after this. But I bet you nothing else, but let's give it a try. Let's do cd ... Now let's check ls. Is there anything after this? Is there anything different from this? So this means we are getting to the very bottom of Linux system, which is everything you have. Everything that makes the system work is here. You can't go beyond this. You can always go upward. You can create more files yourself, create 100 files that people can go into, but you can't come lower than this. I'm just trying to bring us to the base. This is Linux file system. Linux file system. Linux file system. Linux file system. This is Linux file system. So please, I'm coming. Let me charge my So this is Linux file system. So from here now, we've been able to use our cd dot dots to come back. So I think few other things you have to jot in is this. We have used this. We have used ls. We have used clear. We have used clear. So let's do C. We have used clear. We have used this. So from here now, we can take time to look at some of these things, but we are not doing that now. Let's go back home. So if we are going back, remember we can use cd slash HOME to go back home. But now there's another thing you can do. You can use tilde. This it is always below your escape key, depending on the kind of keyboard you are using. You can use shift tilde. We call it tilde. This sign. Look for it. Tilde. Then you do. Yeah, you can just use tilde alone and you press enter. It takes you back to home. And the reason why is if you look at this place, this is what you get when you go back home. So let's use print working directory. Print working directory, and we are back at home as a Kali, which is our user. So I don't know, maybe you get this. You know, we spoke about it. This is our user and this is our host name. This is the host name and this is the user. And remember, we're able to switch using sudo hi to get into our what did we get to there. So I don't want this video to be very long. Please just tell me. Wow, this is almost 1 hour. Very sorry. By the time it's exactly 1 hour, I'm going to stop it there. I do another video tomorrow. I will post. So let me quickly rush. Let me see. So we're back in our listen. Let's see what we can do again before today expires. So we've done print working. Okay, let's do what we did here. What they did here was to do. Remember, I can go back. Let's go back to CD. Let's go back to. Okay, there's something you did here. Now, if you want to move up once, this is it. If you want to move up twice, this is it. So let me go to those two layers we did before. Let's do CD slash home. Okay, like this. Now, remember that I taught you how to move from video back to this by just using cd dot dot. But if you want to move from this, will take you from video to Kali. So if you want to move from video to home, it should be 4 dot dot. 2 means go up once, you do your slash dot dot. So this is to move to another folder. Just look at the arrangement. It moves from this folder. No, the first one, move it from this folder to this folder. The first one, move it from here to here. The second, move it from here to here. And if we want to move it to our file system, we can add one, but let's try this out first. We do this. Now if you do, now look at it, we are in home already. So that means we move from this to this and we are here. So if I do ls list, this is our Kali. This is the user. This is our user. This is the username. If I create another user on this system, this is where it's going to be listed. So I can now decide to go inside of it and do whatever I want to do. So if my name is Kali and I want to create another user for maybe Khalid, maybe Kat, or maybe Tinubu, anybody, I'll just create another user. So that user will appear here. So the list of the number of users on this system will appear here. So now what we are going to do again is okay, now let's do that of 3. Let's do cd slash home and go to now let's do cd dot this then dot. So this will give us 3 movements. 1 here to here, 1, 2, then 3. That will take us to Linux file system. So if we do this, if we do print working directory, now we are in our file Linux file system, and I can do my C, I can do my ls, so that we'll see the list. Look at it, this is the list. So let's just go back to cd slash here. This will take you to your root, but if you want to go back to your home, you can use this. You can either do this or do /home, and you are back at home. Let's clear everything. So here now, let's do in this book they moved from okay, what I practice is what I just did here. So now you can do from cd/etc. So this takes you into etc, and this etc is part of what we have in our list there. Okay, we are in the etc now. I can do ls. You can look at these are configuration file, and what do we do here? etc. Let me see some few things. If I see them here, I should remember. etc. There's a lot of important files here. Is it where we have my log now? Okay, by the time we start working with this, okay, system D, I remember this now. Okay, this is where you, services. Now I can do clear. I can go back to CD, go back to my home. So when I go back to my home now, I can take you back to, let's go stepwise. CD dot ls. I'm in my Kali cd dot. I just want to, for the fun of it, dot. Go do ls. Look at the ls. Look at the etc we went to. So that means any file in my sub file system, if I want to go into them, I can just use my cd, then do my have my slash. That's my forward slash. No, that's my backward slash. My forward slash is going to be like this. So my backward slash, then I can type in any one of it. Let's type in this var. So it takes me up inside this folder now. This folder. So I can just do ls so that we can see what we have here. See, we have our backup lib lock means that all of that. So, but from this I can just go back to my cd. Let's go back home. I'm coming home, ladder walk, tell the world I'm coming. Ladder and wash away. So we are back home, and this is where we are going to be stopping our lecture for today. I'm sorry to take much of your time, but background is very important. So we've talked about this, we've talked about how to use listing content. We've talked about it. So I'm going to add more to your list by tomorrow. We are going to work on this, and I'm going to tell you some few things we need to know. We start from help and how to use menu. Those things will save your life. So we stop here. Nmap, all of this, okay. Aircraft, okay. Finding stuff. I want to see how fast I will go tomorrow. Okay. Find this. Okay, quick look at white cats. Okay, filtering. So tomorrow I will try. We get to at least get to page 14. Creating file with touch. Let's see. I'll go very fast tomorrow because now by tomorrow okay, let's go play. So we stop at by 16 tomorrow. Then we are going to do. So we are going to do all of this exercise. We are going to do some free screenshots, and I think for this exercise I'm going to give us till, but we'll discuss it tomorrow. So thank you everyone. One love, please. Remember that it is not difficult. All you need to do is practice. You don't need to memorize them. Save them somewhere. Whenever you need them, go to them. As you use them, time and time again, you get very used to them, and you become second nature. All of what I'm doing has become second nature because I've used them, I've cracked my head, I've used them. And remember that a good programmer, a good hacker, a good ethical hacker is a good researcher. Ability to be able to look for things is one of those critical things. I'm not giving up. All the information is online, a lot of things is online, a lot of video is online. So whatever you want to do, just have your basic. Once your basic is sound, that is why I want us to do this before I now go into major ethical hacking, when we start trying to hack, do decryption, do password cracking and all of that. So please take this very serious. Thank you very much. And the only way you can support this community is to click on the like button, subscribe to the channel, and please put on your notifications so that whenever I put out all these videos, this one as I'm dropping them, you'll be seeing it, and first time you'll be getting them in our community. So thank you. Bye to all things cyber. Thank you guys. Bye bye.